What's happening, guys, and welcome to another video. Today we are going to be talking about 5 wrestlers that are huge conspiracy theorists. As many of you may already know, I'm a huge fan of all things conspiracy, making previous videos on wrestling urban legends, Mandela effects and conspiracy theories. And it seems like I'm not the only one fascinated by these subjects, because as we're about to find out, a lot of professional wrestlers also have a keen interest in the mysterious world of conspiracy theories. So don't forget to stun that subscribe button as we start our list off with number 5, Brian Kendrick. Kendrick is such a big conspiracy theorist that he even released a DVD called The Kendrick Theory, consisting of a long-form shoot-style interview where he talks exclusively about conspiracies including 9/11, the Denver International Airport, aliens and Area 51, just to name a few. Kendrick also appeared on Renee Young's podcast Regular Girls, where he would also discuss conspiracies.
How did you get into conspiracy theories?
So the first one for me, it was actually South Park that did it for me.
Yeah. Okay.
There was an episode where Cartman was blaming Kenny for 9/11, and it was, obviously it's satire, but he pointed out enough things for me to go, hey, maybe there's something to investigate here, and then it's been a spiral into madness ever since.
It snowballs, right? It's like you start with one thing,
Yes.
and then it all leads to a million other things.
Yes.
What would you say is the most compelling of the conspiracy theories?
Ooh.
Because there's a lot. Listen,
Sure.
we've done. Is this our third podcast
It
on
might have been
conspiracy
our
theories?
third one, yeah. Like my favorite's like Illuminati.
Me too. Love
Okay.
that. I
just spent
live
some
for
time-
it.
Oh yeah, and then a Mandela effect.
Sure. Yeah.
Mhm, that one's good.
Yeah.
I was trying to do a little research, and it just sent me to a bunch of websites that I didn't really care about. Tell me about the flat Earth.
Okay. So the
He like lit up.
yeah.
Okay.
It's the idea with the flat Earth is that that's what we live on. We live on a flat Earth, so Antarctica would be a rim around.
The rim job.
You could say that. So the idea that it's actually like an Arctic crust that goes all the way around the Earth.
So it's like a disc shape?
Like a disc, yeah.
Oh,
that would be the
okay.
idea. And if you get into religious texts, they go back to there being this is what we live on. There's the firmament that separates the waters from the waters. That we live more or less in a snow globe.
What?
Yeah, but there's all sorts of stuff on it. The thing is that any sort of proof that we live on a round Earth being photographic,
Yeah.
they're all CGI. There are no real pictures of Earth.
Is that real?
That's real?
They'll NASA. You can find videos on it. Will admit that they're all composites, and that's the closest they'll admit to it being real at all.
No.
And if you look at pictures of Earth, any of these old pictures, the size of the continents are drastically different on each of them. So Africa will be, a quarter of the size of the picture of this globe, or it'll take up over half of it. They vary. From a dozen pictures, you'll see none of them look the same.
However, we better not let this distract us from the biggest conspiracy of all, the fact that WWE still refused to recognise Kendrick as the former WWE World Heavyweight Champion that he is. Number 4, Chris Jericho. Throughout the years, Chris has discussed conspiracies on numerous occasions on his Talk is Jericho podcast, inviting on different guests from all walks of life, from psychic mediums to ghost hunters, and even flat earth theorists. Jericho seems happy to discuss almost anything with anyone. I feel like this is probably one of the things that have kept him young and fresh, and able to evolve with the times.
Also, on 9/11, it was a ritual about the two towers becoming one tower. The Twin Pines in Back to the Future becoming the Lone Pine Mall. Back to the Future, for those of you that don't know, is a complete story about 9/11. There's tons of videos on.
What do you mean?
Oh, it's absolutely a documentary of 9/11. There's scenes in there. Oh, there's RV. I'll let RV go in a second. But the in the movie, you remember Doc and Marty are in the parking lot of the Twin Pines Mall, and a van comes in with Arabs that look just like the 9/11 hijackers that come in, and
Right.
it goes on from there. Zemeckis, the producer of the show, also came out with The Wire exactly 30 years later, RV?
Yeah.
And The Wire, which is the story of the guy that walked across the towers. And if you look in the movie, watching the movie, it's Marty McFly. He's dressed like him, the same leather jacket, the same everything, same hair. There's a video, and because we can't really go into it on the podcast, but it's called just search on YouTube for 9/11 Back to the Future. Scrawny to Brawny has the best version. That's the name of the channel. It'll blow your mind. There's all sorts of symbolism all through the movie that paint the entire picture of 9/11. This stuff
Barely Human. Yeah, David, actually it's Barely Human 11 that first made the whole documentary on it. But here's an interesting concept, and this is what they work on concepts. When you watch Back to the Future 2, you're going to see old man McFly hanging upside down when he enters the house. For anybody that's seen Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
Now he enters this room where they have the screen and it's not working properly. And you'll see the Twin Pines show up. Then you'll see the Twin Towers. Now what's interesting is you'll see the Statue of Liberty in that quarters in the house. What you see is the old man McFly is upside down. And what happens on the TV, since it's broken, the Twin Towers go up. So from the old man McFly's perspective, the towers are coming down. So, we have to understand.
If you watch that scene, the TV kind of fizzles out from the bottom up, but he's upside down, and it looks exactly like the tower is just crumbling to the ground. And the Statue of Liberty lamp they have in the room is in the exact position that it would be if you were viewing the towers from New Jersey with Statue of Liberty in between.
Yeah, from the harbor view.
These are not coincidences. This is done. The 9/11 was planned before those buildings were built. That's a hard one to wrap your mind around, but these people plan 100 years in advance on some of this stuff.
Number 3, Bo Dallas. Speaking of Chris Jericho's podcast, Bo Dallas appeared on the show where he would discuss his own favourite conspiracy theories, including the JFK assassination, missing passages of the Bible, as well as Hollow Earth.
Just to jump into one like the missing books of the Bible. For me, it's a lifelong journey that I need to find.
Because give us some background on this.
So I believe I am a Christian.
Yeah, I'm a Christian as well. Absolutely.
And so I believe that the book that we have, as the Bible, is the Word. Mm-hmm. But I believe it was manipulated by man. I believe books were taken away from us so we couldn't see, and God, I'm a little scared to say this. I don't want any backlash coming back on, but I think that there's books hidden from us and we don't get the whole story. And it's hard for religious people to question that because we're given a book and say, this is what you believe and the full truth and nothing but the truth. Believe this.
So you're talking the Bible with, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and Thessalonians, and all those sort of things, that you're saying that there's actual books, Galatians and stuff that exist that aren't included in the overall Bible?
Yes.
Wow.
There's missing between Jesus' life between, I don't know the age, 12 to 15.
They don't ever talk.
Jumps.
He's a kid, and then he's 33 getting crucified, basically.
And how can we accept that? It's not that's a jump. It's obvious, and it was the history tells us that men had their hands all over this the entire time. The reprinting and the translations, and it's not the word that we originally got. And
so you feel that there's that whole part of Jesus' life that's not in the Bible is in the Bible, but it wasn't really included in there.
Yes.
So where is it?
I believe a certain group of people have their grips on it, and
is this like Illuminati type stuff, or
Illuminati, the reptilian people, which is another term that immediately, because it sounds so crazy. Oh, lizard people. Immediately you don't listen to it, but there's so much proof.
And with Bo's brother Bray having one of the best minds in the business, and his Fiend character being one of the hottest acts in wrestling today, I'd love to see what Bo could do if given the opportunity to run with a character closer to his own personality, incorporating conspiracies into his gimmick. After all, he does have over a decade of experience in the business and is still in his 20s, so there's still time for Bo to turn it all around and get himself over with the fans in WWE. Number 2, Jesse Ventura. Probably the most notorious conspiracy theorist on the list here. The former WWF superstar, Marine and Governor of Minnesota has been very outspoken on his distrust of the government for years. He even had his own television series, Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura, which ran for 3 seasons and covered a wide range of theories from secret societies to time travel, and there was even an episode on the reptilian conspiracy. And number 1, Stevie Richards. Former ECW and WWE superstar Stevie Richards now works in the fitness industry, as well as co-hosting the Conspiracy Horseman podcast. Richards also likes to talk conspiracies on his YouTube channel, specifically on the work of the late William Cooper. And if you haven't heard any of his theories before, I would recommend you go and check them out. He has a lot of interesting things to say. Was there anyone left out on the list? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as well as following Wrestle with Andy on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.